and
What will
we'll
I
get
see?
rolling.
All right, so we're up there. I'm waiting for it to pull up on YouTube itself.
All right, there we go. Okay, I've got it on my end here.
All right, give me just a second here. I'm waiting on it, waiting on it. I'm refreshing.
Am I going to see anything?
There we go. All right, we are live on YouTube.
All right, let's go ahead and start it.
All right.
Let's get it
Let's
going
go.
here.
Hi, this is Jack Hughes of Wang Chung, and you're listening to the DND Dynamite 80s podcast show with your hosts DC and DH.
Live from Nashville, Tennessee, you are listening to the D&D Dynamite 80s podcast with your hosts, DC and DH. So, guys, take it away. Take it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to another episode of D&D Dynamite 80s. I'm DH.
Hey, I am DC.
And we're here to
How you
take
been, brother?
Oh, man, I'm telling you what, I'm just running along like water right now. How about you?
Hey, I'm doing awesome, man. Summertime.
Man, I tell you, I'm trying to enjoy a little bit of summer vacation.
I hear you.
Just trying to get a little work done, get a little summer done. You know, I need to get on
I hear
your
you,
level
brother.
so I can get some days off and just
Right.
kind of relax. You know?
Right. Yeah, you don't want to be at my level.
Yeah, how's your week been, brother?
It's been awesome, man. We're looking forward to this great guest tonight.
Oh, I know. I can't wait. Let's go ahead and do the introductions, man. We'll get this one rolling.
We got
I'm
Mr.
excited.
Darryl Vidal with us tonight.
Yeah.
He's an
Hey,
actor,
hey,
producer, martial arts, and author. We're going to talk about
Yes.
his author stuff here. We want to
Yes.
do some
All
of
right.
that as well. But Darryl, how are you?
I'm doing really good, man. Trying to enjoy my summer too.
Yeah.
But but I just had surgery on my left
Oh,
hand here for carpal tunnel, so I'm kind of
Yes.
I can't play golf. I can't do stick fighting. You know, I am kind of like laid up
A
here.
little
But
limited. Yeah.
yeah. But
Been
it's
there and
okay.
done
I'll get
that.
over it.
I've had that
Oh,
same
good.
surgery. Yeah. So I'm with you. I
Right.
understand what you've gone through.
yeah,
That's for sure.
definitely.
Well,
Well,
I can't fish. I can't golf. What am I going to do?
limited. Yeah, limited right now. Just sit back and enjoy the ride, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not even supposed to punch people in the face right now.
So we're safe tonight, DC.
We're
We are
safe. We're
tonight.
safe. No, folks that are joining in or will be joining in watching the replay, we got Darryl on again tonight. He's been on this our second go around with Darryl, and he's an awesome guest, and we appreciate him taking time with us for sure. And we're going to start off kind of what we did just to give that foundation like we did last time.
All right.
Darryl, talk to me about that awesome experience as a younger person when you got the Karate Kid stuff, and talked about some of those the highlights from that.
All right. Well, 40 years ago, I think 41 years ago now.
Yeah. Yes.
Is actually 41 is when the Karate Kid actually came out. So 42 years ago, I
Right.
was 20 years old. I was like a hotshot karate competition dude, just kind of making the tournament circuit. And I'm at a tournament, and I used to do. You know what a kata is, right? Kata is where
Yes.
you
Yes.
have a
Yes.
set moves, and you compete for that. Typically, you go to a tournament, you do kata competition, and then they break, and then you do sparring competition. So I had just won the kata competition, and some guy comes up to me and says, "Hey, how'd you like to be in a movie?"
Oh,
And
wow.
that's seriously how it happened. I said, "Well, of course, you know, I had dreams of becoming the next Bruce Lee, but you know, I didn't have any idea how I was supposed to do that." So, yeah, the guy comes up and he introduces me to John Avildsen, who directed Rocky, and of course,
Yeah.
I was like, "Is this real?" You know, I still had to finish the tournament, but they gave me a number to call. I called it, and next thing I know, I'm at wherever the studio is in Burbank and meeting all these people, and that's how I got into the movie. They brought me in to be kind of like a level set, right? To show some real martial artists, highlight some real martial arts in the movie when I fight with Johnny in the tournament. But in the midst of the rehearsals, they told me, "Hey, we want you to do another part of this movie where the old man, Mr. Miyagi, is supposed to be on top of the stump
Yeah.
doing this crane kick thing." And so I said, "Okay, well, I'll do it, of course." And they said, "Okay, you're going to be standing on top of the stump with one leg because the kid's going to get his knee hurt." And then I said, "Okay." And then you're going to put your hands out like out to the side like this. I said, "Why would you ever do that?" And they said, "Because it's the crane kick." So I said, "Oh, I just better shut up and do what they tell me, you know." So I put my arms out and stood like that. And then they said, "Now we want you to jump, kick, and then land back on that leg because you can't use the other leg." So I said, "Okay, let me work on it." And I don't know if you've ever done it, but you can't really do that. You really have to
No, don't have
jump.
to worry about
Yeah,
me trying to do that. No.
right. Or even me now. But if you jump, you have to kick and you have to land on the other leg. So after a while, I think I had half the day they had me experimenting with it, and then I said, "Look, here's what I think we should do. We do it like this, start like this, go like this, and do. It's really what we call a double jump kick in karate. Not it's not unique for any one style." And then they said, "Well, you got to do something with your hands." So I came up with this whole thing in order to come out and get to the wings, and then did it a few times. And they said, "Okay,
Wow.
that's the green
Wow.
kick."
They were satisfied. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. One afternoon, that's a great kick.
Oh,
Passed
wow.
down
Wow,
over
that's
thousands of
awesome.
years.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And it has become so well known. That must
Yeah.
Tell
make
ya.
you feel awesome. To
Well,
something that
it
is
is.
that. Yeah.
It's unique because I always say that I'm the most famous person that nobody knows. Because for the
Well,
first 20 years, I couldn't substantiate that that was me. Okay, it
Right.
says on the cast, on the credits at the end, it says Darryl Vidal, semifinalist. So I only got that credit, and
Oh,
it
wow.
wasn't
Yeah.
until
Okay.
it wasn't until 20 years later they released the director's cut, and in the background they have commentary with Ralph and Pat and John Allison, and they're talking through the movie. And I got it because I said they got to talk about me on this, right? 'Cause there's going to be a
Sure.
time where the crane kick happens. So I'm watching it, it's on a DVD, and there they go. The crane kick comes up, and they go, "And there's Darryl. Yeah, Darryl, he's a good guy," and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yes, I was alone when I put my arms up.
Oh,
that
wow.
that is awesome. And one of the things that my grandkids, my 8-year-old granddaughter and my 3
Uh-huh.
grandsons they all take karate now.
Okay,
And
okay.
she's in she's got she's in the black belt class now, but I forget her color actual stripe. But like they did her and my oldest grandson did their first competition and they both finished like second in their kata. And then
Nice.
she finished second in sparring and got a really nice
Okay.
trophy. So the discipline that puts into an individual's life is
Mm.
amazing. Kind of
It
talk
is.
about
It
that,
is.
how that's kind of guided you through your journey of becoming like a published author and everything else.
Well, absolutely. Any type of discipline, any kind of training that you dedicate yourself to will change your life. And if the thing about martial arts is it is purely self improvement. I mean, true for any whether you're whatever style or if you're into running or weightlifting or tennis or whatever it is, you can pursue that. But martial arts will affect you for the rest of your life,
Mm.
and it'll teach you so many things about yourself, and dealing with other people. Of course, you put yourself in a sparring situation, and you see people who don't have control of their emotions, and they can't spar. I mean, I actually know people who can't spar, but they know they can't spar, but
Mm.
because of their experiences. But you don't learn that until you get out there and do it a little bit. And so yeah, I have when you've been teaching for 40 years now, you have people that have grown up and now they're adults, and you can see how it has affected their lives. I mean, I have students who are doctors, engineers for Boeing, programmers, and they lead, very, upstanding lives. And it's like they're your kids, and like you, TH, I have 4 grandkids. My oldest granddaughter is 9, but you just see in them the innocence of youth,
Yes.
and it's a great thing to help mold their personalities.
Yes, and that's my youngest granddaughter. She's actually the one I'm talking about. She's 9, fixing to turn 9 in September,
Right.
actually. And to see the difference that it makes, just having that discipline of what they're doing when they go to to their place where they go to take their karate lessons at, seeing that discipline and that excitement in their face as they go into there, it's just amazing to know that they're getting that life discipline as well.
Mm.
Yes, yeah. They don't know it yet. They don't know it yet, but it'll
Yeah.
help. Things as simple as being on time,
Yes.
and being respectful of other people's time as well, which is what that is about. So you come in late to class, everybody looks at you, and there's no punishment, but punishment is the look,
That
and having to
Yeah,
bow in
that it,
separately.
yeah, that it happened. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
so funny because like my 2 5-year-old grandsons, they're twins. They'll like try to teach me their kata. Of course, I always mess it up, and they're like, "No, Pop, you just can't do it. Let me show you again." So, and they show me 4 or 5 times every time they learn something new, and then of course Pop messes it up, and it becomes this
Yeah,
big to do for them. So,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, they take
And
pride in that,
yeah, oh yeah, and
of
well,
course,
Absolutely.
of course.
it's they're actually teaching. I mean, they've got
Yeah.
that self-confidence that they're
So
showing
they
and
want to try
teaching
to teach
someone
it.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
that's fantastic. Fantastic stuff. Darryl, I got to ask this. Of
Please,
course,
please.
since we had talked last, this was a big.
When did
big
we
deal.
talk last? How long ago was it?
Probably about 2 years ago. I was.
yes.
That's
Okay.
about right.
Yep.
About 2 years
All right.
ago. And DH will tell you we hadn't got any better doing this.
And
No,
2 years.
I'm sure I had a good time.
Hey, and 2 years from now, we're not going to be.
No,
any
we
better
won't be any
either,
better
so it's
then
all
either.
good.
Well,
No,
I'll come back on it then too.
There you go.
There you go. There you go. No, and I told DH this. I don't know if he had watched it before me or had seen you before it or whatever, but I remember having this conversation with him. That's Darryl. That's Darryl. We're talking, because I love the Cobra Kai series. I just loved it.
Okay.
And watched,
Yeah.
and we actually, have talked about it quite a bit, and really enjoyed that series. But how did that part
me too.
come about for you?
Well, I mean, so you've watched them all, right?
Oh yeah.
All 6 seasons? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So even before they start, when they first started filming, they
Mhm.
contacted me because I had to sign a waiver because they were going to use footage from Karate Kid 1.
Okay.
So even before YouTube Red came out, I knew that they were doing this, and I knew they knew me. And so I sent them an email along with the waivers. I said, here's a video of me sparring. I still teach. I look like Miyagi now.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But I never really heard back from anything. So I said, oh, whatever. So season 1 comes and goes. There's, I appear in the very first episode, right? It's a flashback. So,
Right.
so there.
Right.
They put me in there. Season 2 rolls around and they talk about me, right?
Yeah.
So it's like Johnny mentions it to Tommy while he's in his deathbed, and then in season 3, they talk about me in prison, right? Reese talks about it. So I'm thinking, What are they waiting for? And in that time, Mike Barnes comes back on, who Sean's a good friend of mine. So it's like, there's Mike Barnes. And then they bring the little girl back from Karate Kid 2, right? It's like, that girl, they brought her back.
Right,
You
right,
got to bring me back,
right.
And then even the fan base, I get people, messaging me and making videos. Yeah, bring Vidal back. So season 4 rolls around, season 5 rolls around, nothing. And then and people were always asking me, what are they going to bring back? Blah 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 blah. So finally, season 6 come around, and I hear that it's filming, and also they had that writers and that strike, right? So it interrupted everything. So I said, okay, well, season 6, and haven't been contacted. And then I can tell you this now, but I couldn't tell you before. But do you know William Christopher Ford?
Mhm.
He plays the Guzman, the long hair.
Yep.
Yeah, Karate Kid 3. He and I are good friends. We actually knew each other in karate competition before the Karate Kid. So
Okay.
since we were like 14, 15 years old.
Okay.
And so we were having lunch because we keep in contact. And he says, "Have you been contacted?" I said, "Well, like, So he was in part 2 of season 6. So they had, brought him in, and he's just kind of telling me this. He goes, I told them about you, and they know, but and, I've got all these people, pushing for me because Sean's wife is kind of involved in it. And so finally, I get the call, and actually it was Sean's wife. She says, "Okay, I've been talking to them. They're going to bring you in, for the last 3 episodes of season 6."
Right.
So from that point, I couldn't say anything. Right. So mum's the word, and that was in February 24, February last year. So within that time, uh, only like 4 weeks, 3 weeks in advance before I had to fly out there. And so, I'm trying to figure out how am I going to do this work, blah, 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 teaching classes. Okay. So I go out there and they say, we need you here for 3 days for this, episode 13. Well, you're going to, and then while I'm there, they say, oh, actually, you're in the last 3 episodes. You need to stay to the end of the month. Right.
my
Yeah.
gosh.
It was like a total like 3.5 weeks.
Wow.
But everything's paid for. It's like okay. So I work out something at work. It's remote. This. And special. Time off that. Work it out, and so that happened, and then I'm the center ref. I wish I got to fight somebody, but Johnny Wolf.
Right.
I got to break up Johnny Wolf.
Right.
It's
Right.
funny. It's funny. I looked at that scene. It's like, who's that little guy? Oh.
Yeah, that would have been like a twist in the story if you would have got a rematch with Johnny and beat him or something. That would have been cool.
Yeah, that would be too contrived.
Right. I would. It would have blown their whole story, So
Hey, who cares? We'll write our own story about it. Let's
right.
go.
We'll just write our own. Oh wow.
Well, these days anybody can do that, right?
Right.
Speaking of stories,
Yes.
I mean, you have the unbelievable platform of things that you've done in your life. It's amazing. But I'm interested in what made you get involved in wanting to do author books.
Author books. Okay, so it actually goes back 20 years because
wow,
I've always written stuff. Because as I've grown, I've always read like Chinese philosophy and Bruce Lee, Tao Jeet Kune Do, and then when I got into college is when I kind of got into like Chinese philosophy and reading Zen and Lao Tzu and then I just when I started to get more technical jobs at work. and began doing like technical writing and stuff like that. And then my career time took me to schools and education. And if you look at my books selection in
Mhm.
Amazon,
That's right.
most of my books are about education and technology, where they
Right.
converge. And
Right.
and that's what I do still today is I project manage technology programs for a school district. And so I've always had this connection between technology and schools and, putting together things and writing these technical things. But I've always had in my mind, these little plot lines of stories. And of course, when I first started traveling for work is when I started reading a lot. So Clancy and Michael Crichton and John Grisham, like 100. I literally read ravenously. I still do. I read sometimes two books at the same time, where I'm reading like a chemistry book or something about physics, and then at the same time I'm reading sci-fi.
Yeah.
So I'm just been voracious about it. So now with AI coming to the forefront and the questions about it, um, kind of came up with this plot line about these gamers basically who and there's a lot of it's I call it near future because a lot of this actually happening now. It's like as I wrote it, things with the CIA and it gets into Monarch and brainwashing and taking over the world economy, that type of things.
Yeah.
So that's what it was, and then I like to put like hidden, not even so not subtle hidden. I like to do one-offs, So instead of Minecraft, I called it Minecraft, right?
Right.
And then I talk about the Minecraft is this big giant game corporation that is so big that everybody in the world plays it, and it has things like real time interactivity and translation. So everybody plays this game, or in the whole world. And then there's also another software company, the biggest educational software company in the world, called Edgenex, and it's so big that pretty much every student is on Nginx because now they've got every student, they can follow you, they can help you with school. And then with AI, it can do all this custom learning for you, right? AI
Yeah.
is supposed to make learning customized for each person. They call it adaptive learning, blah, 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 blah. Well, what happens when the education company buys the gaming company?
Ah.
And
Wow.
then you have a VR headset where you can totally immerse your person. Um, and then do you guys know about MK Ultra and all that?
Hmm.
The CIA brainwashing.
Yep.
Well,
There you go. It's set
there,
up.
there you go. It's
I
all
mean,
in history. The history is laid out for this story.
Yeah.
that's
Now,
awesome.
So
DH.
I'll leave it
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you're hitting my mouse pad for
Right.
Minecraft.
Oh,
that's
there you
awesome.
go.
Education. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah, order it
and
online.
Now,
you know,
DH, this is up your alley.
yeah, no, I can't wait. I'm ordering the book. I can't wait to get it. So because
Yeah.
I actually that's what I taught before I became an AP. I taught information systems. I wrote virtual reality
Well, there you
projects for the
go.
state. So, and one of the things that I always told my
Oh,
kids
yeah.
is everything we're doing in here, we're doing it in headsets, but you do it on these every day. I mean, think
That's right.
about it.
That's right.
That kind of
So,
leads.
so, so what if 10 years ago somebody wrote a malware that could install itself on everybody's phone until another command comes in, and
Yes.
it's already happened.
Yes,
It's already happening.
yeah, yes, it's happening. Here's the thing, and I tell my kids all the time, that if you don't think these things track you, pull into Walmart parking lot and your phone goes, "Hi, Dale, welcome back to Walmart."
Exactly. Oh
It's
yeah. I mean,
tracking, and we allow it. We allow
uh,
them to track.
We
So,
sure do.
but yeah, the cool part about that whole story is when you brought in, because part of the virtual reality practicum that I wrote, we were actually coding and developing games and including some coding elements of learning coding into, they had to develop their own programs in the head while they're working in
hmm
the headsets. So
hmm
that was happening in high school. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah, I mean,
it's
none of this
amazing.
is that new. Yeah, this is
No,
not. It's just the coming together
it's putting
of
it together.
of
Yes.
yeah, who has the ability to bring together these powers and this type of integration. I mean, you think about the financial side of the world. Well, what if one company, which is international, and thus and only on the web, right? It's not even based in a country. How can that be regulated?
Right.
And
That's the thing.
what could prevent uh, them utilizing state of the art commercial technologies to create black markets?
Mm.
This is happening. This is happening,
Yes.
but we don't see it. But that's what happens in Minecraft. So you
And,
got to read it.
and I can't wait to read it because it's kind of, you kind of opened up that door where and it just, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, so they're educating and they're entertaining. You talking 95 to 100% of a person's time right there, and one
Yep,
corporation's
exactly.
controlling. So yeah, I can't wait to read that
Right.
one.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And
And then think about the behavior analysis I can develop on each person. If I'm tracking all their education career and all their gaming career,
Yes. Yeah. I
I
mean,
can come up with personal profiles and say these people are more subset to this type of brainwashing, and
yep.
you know,
And start, I mean, and start regulating and
wow.
directing, and you could start manipulating folks into where you kind of what you wanted to take
right. And so
place.
who's driving the AI? That was what always becomes
Yeah.
the question, right?
Right.
So.
That's the biggest thing with me, and that conversation came up all the time in class when we would start really kind of delving into the AI platforms. Was okay. Number one, who's controlling this, and number two, do we really think they have control? At what point does AI take control of itself? Was always a huge question.
So that's the singularity, right?
Right.
Going back to Terminator,
Yes.
when Skynet,
Yes.
right? Skynet becomes self-aware, and that's what starts the whole Holocaust,
Yes.
and that's what they call the singularity. So the educational singularity happens when AI takes over education. So
Yes.
that's why the
Mm.
subtitle is
And, it's kind
Yeah.
of scary because I see folks now relying on AI to actually write documents for them or text or drafts or
oh,
whatever.
absolutely, yeah.
It's like we've already kind of lost the ability to have social interactions because you go into a restaurant, what do you see? Everybody's like this.
Everybody's on
Yeah,
the phone.
Right,
everybody.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And
Act-
now,
Actually, actually, tell me if I'm wrong, but you guys, DAC and DH, and myself, when I'm with my family at a restaurant, don't do that, right? We
No.
intentionally
no.
No.
try to avoid that, and we frown on the
Yep.
family members,
Yep.
and we give them crap for, hey, put your phone down, So there is a backlash, there is a morality still in place that we can long for.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, though, if you think about that, with younger generations, how long is that going to be in place? I mean,
Mm.
we do it with our
It's forever.
families, but yeah, hopefully that'll
Yeah.
keep passing down. So yeah,
Who knows?
Hopefully.
I've
Oh,
always, like I always tell my students, technology is a two-edged sword. It's amazing, but it's also very frightening. You've got to
Oh
understand both
yeah.
sides.
absolutely.
Well,
That's well
what
well put.
the biggest profit centers on internet and the mass of development uh, and innovation on the internet was pornography.
Yep.
That is a gold mine for these miscreants. But that's where a lot of the innovation came, and that's kind of what happens in Minecraft. Is you have this conglomerate company that encompasses everything. Everybody's got their bank account connected to it, and even black markets are utilizing it. So
Yeah.
you know, yeah.
Well, I mean, you think about it, these major companies, like some of your major companies that are into other things, also have servers where they sell the storage space. So they have
Oh,
your
absolutely.
data, data
Everybody.
accounts, all of your information that's linked to everything. They have a complete profile of your life and what you do and
Yeah,
who you are. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
Scary
so should
stuff.
we? I don't know what your timing is like. Should we talk about my other book?
Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going next. The Crane
Okay.
and the Grand Master.
Do you mind if I get up and grab a copy of it?
Go
Yes,
right
sir.
ahead.
Please.
Because I have it back here. Sorry.
Folks, if you're joining us, we have Darryl Vidal on tonight. And yeah, we're talking about his book currently. And you'll be able to watch this whole
And there
episode on our YouTube. And
Yes.
yeah,
Yep.
And
show
you
us the
can
book.
see
There it
you
is.
can see the book right there, The
There
Crane
it
and the
is.
Grand
Yeah.
Master.
You can get that on
Right.
Amazon along with all of Daryl's other books. Check out
Yep.
Amazon. I was on there today, and they've got them
Well,
laid
the
out very easily
good-
for you to purchase his books.
Very good. And the good thing news about these books, unlike my other technology books, is these are cheap. $5 on Kindle,
Right.
$13. Please buy it. And
Right,
there's
hard
actually a
copy.
website. If you go to let's see, how does the best way to point you to my website is you can buy autograph copies. So if you want me to autograph one,
Okay.
you can go to this
Yes.
website and uh, then order it there. It costs a little bit more, and the shipping is crazy. I don't know if you know this, but shipping
Yes.
costs a lot of money. So it costs $10 just to ship a book. So no, yeah, if you go, so just real quickly, if you don't mind,
Yeah, go ahead.
on Facebook,
Mhm.
it's Vidal Kempo, and then on Instagram, it's stupid. Just type in my name, but it's at Rockbreaker Boy. And that's actually explained why I have that name in the book.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay. And that's what you go by on Instagram. as well.
Rockbreaker Boy. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
Darryl, tell us a little bit, just kind of a little bit of a highlight about the book.
Because there's a variety of things from what I read on the getting an idea about the book. You go down several pathways, don't you, of things that you talk about?
Oh
in
yeah,
this book.
absolutely. Well, here's the interesting thing is I try not to be too, I have a lot of stuff going, so I can talk
Sure.
forever about the stuff I'm doing, but I try not to be too boastful. So I kind of hang back, and that's what I talk about in this book. I never really would have wanted to write a memoir. And because to me, it's just too self-indulgent. It's like, hey, I'll read about me, So I never had planned to do it. But then my oldest son, he told me, he goes, Dad, when you come out of Cobra Kai, you look at all these other guys, they got their books about there. You just got to do it, and people are going to want to read your story. Because, like you said, I do a lot of crazy stuff. So not crazy. It's just I do a lot of different things, and so I started off, and the name that I came up with kind of early on just made so much sense. People want to know about the crane kick. That's why it's on the cover.
Yep.
Right.
And then they want to know about my martial arts. But there's so much more to my personality. So I kind of just started putting an outline together and then start writing. And it's very kind of, it does follow me from, being young and growing up and, being in high school. And we talk a lot about imposter syndrome. I don't know if you guys know about that. You know what that is?
No.
Yeah. No? Okay. So imposter syndrome, a lot of people can relate, is when you think that you're pretending in life. when you feel like you're a phony. And it's not that people think you're a phony, but you feel like you're a phony.
Okay.
For instance, I went to Cal State San Bernardino. Okay. I didn't go to USC. So that to me is like, I have a master's, but it's at Cal State San Bernardino. It's like, I teach karate. Do you have your own dojo? No, I teach at a Parks and Rec. And so even though I don't diminish that because I know what I've done in that realm, it's still not, I don't have my own studio. So everything in my life has always been balanced. It's like a yin yang, it's like every time I think I'm good or smart or something, there's something on the other side that says, you're short little runts, you're never going to play basketball or baseball. And so that's my whole upbringing. I kind of talk about that. Talk about how I was in a band, and even though it was only for a couple of years, it was a huge influence on, and that's why I can identify the guitars behind DH. It's like, hey, look, there's a Strata back there. There's the Ace Frehley, whatever guitar. So I go through that, but then I talk a lot about the Crane story, but just like I told you guys. And talk about coming back to Cobra Kai, and then there's a section about how I've achieved becoming a grandmaster, which I don't like. I start the book talking about how I don't like to be called grandmaster. Some people say grandmaster out of respect, and I won't diminish it. I don't, but I usually just call me Darryl. I don't really call myself grandmaster, but I getting a 10th degree from the same instructor, that's a legitimate
Right.
Sure.
It's not like I'm a rapper or something,
Yeah, that's funny because that's the way I am with my doctorate. I mean, they'll call me Dr. Hudson, but I mean, some kids will call me coach or whatever. It doesn't matter as long as you call me when you need something. I don't care what you call me. So
exactly.
It all works out. But Darryl,
well, DH, you didn't tell me that I'm supposed to call you Dr. DH.
Oh no. No, I do have the doctorate, but DH is Dale's perfect.
Great.
Whatever. Hey, as long as you call us,
I don't use the doctor on him.
No. But Darryl, you did give me some insight on what's wrong with our show. I just figured it out after 5 years.
Oh yeah, what's that?
DC, I figured it out. We have the imposter syndrome. We think we're a podcast, but we're really not.
That's what it is. That's what it is. You got it.
Darryl has diagnosed.
That's the key. He's had the whole key the whole time.
Right.
We just needed to put Darryl on.
So now that you can recognize that, then when the bad side reminds itself, you can kind of just go.
Yeah, we're like, hey, we're okay with that. Yeah, we always my thought to that is I'll just say, hey, you said you would come on the show. That's on you. What happens there?
Oh wow, man, Darryl, we appreciate your time, and,
yes, sir.
And it's been a pleasure to catch up with you again, and all the best to you and your family, and all that great stuff.
Yes.
Let everybody, and you kind of touched on it. Yeah. And you kind of touched on it, but give everybody, plug those, all those different platforms that you're on.
Sure. Again, and I'm pretty approachable on my Facebook, which is Vidal Campo. If you message me there and don't try to sell me anything, I won't block you. But if you ask me about some government program, I'm going to block you.
I'm out.
Yeah. And so Vidal Campo on Facebook, and then Instagram. You can type my name, Darryl Vidal, but you can. My handle is @RockbreakerBoy, and
right.
The book talks about why it's called that. But it's an interesting component of the book because you talk about how your grandkids are learning this discipline, right?
Yes.
Well, once you get into the martial arts and the advanced levels, and you start breaking, people always say, bricks, boom, they don't hit back. Well, there is a component to that, a mental component, of mental discipline, where you have to, basically it's called, mind over matter. It's positive thinking. If you don't think you can break the board, you're right. And you know, so that's what that is about. I didn't know if we're finishing up or what is
It's
your time limit, but
Yeah.
it's
that's what
Daryl.
that was.
That's funny that you mentioned that because I think it was what was it, DC? Like I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 months ago, my grandson got to break his first board,
Right.
and
Oh yeah,
for to see him and then to hear him tell about that and see that facial expression,
oh yeah.
you can't put a price tag on that. You
You
just
can't.
cannot.
It's like catching your first fish.
Yeah,
It is even with adults. If you get an adult, they start training. At the end of the year, we always do a big to do. At the end of the year, so I usually bring a bunch of boards and let everybody break boards, and everybody gets the same thrill about it, even if it's 100th time I did it or the first time.
Sure.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Daryl, can you hang with us as we close out?
Sure.
All right. Once again, folks, Darryl Vidal, and make sure you grab his books at Amazon and rewatch Karate Kid, of course, one of my favorite movies of all time. And of course, the Cobra Kai says it. Yeah, the Cobra Kai series.
Yes.
Everybody has Netflix now, so get on there and watch all the Cobra Kai series seasons. And
Yes. And
man,
folks,
it's been a pleasure, and hang
Yes.
tight with us.
Yeah, pleasure was mine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There.
it was a lot of fun. Thanks.
Hang tight. All right,
All
DH.
right. All right,
Okay.
Daryl, thank you for joining us. Folks, next week, just so you know,
Yep.
DC's going to train and he's going to attempt the crane kick live on the show.
No, we're not going to try that. We're not going to try
We've
that.
Okay.
already-
Well,
we've got-
I don't know.
I don't need
I
an
don't know if you
injury.
can tag me on something so I can watch it.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
we're gonna tag you on the ambulance website that they're gonna
Right.
cart him on.
Yeah, right. As I
I'll
get
visit you
carted
in the
out
hospital.
Yeah.
from the hospital bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
that's
right. All right.
All
ladies
right,
and
guys.
gentlemen.
Hey, what's real quick? Are we closing out? Are you
No,
No,
go
closing?
ahead.
Go ahead.
Go
All right.
ahead.
What city or state are you in?
We're in
Tennessee.
Nashville, Tennessee area.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to be out there at some point. I just don't know when.
Awesome.
Oh, fantastic.
When you do, let us know. We'll all meet at Waffle House and DC will buy.
I'll be paying.
All right.
So there we go.
Okay.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Okay,
Please
guys.
let us know when you're in our area for sure.
Okay.
All right. So
I
hang
will.
tight. Hang tight with us.
Okay.
All right.
I'm
DH,
hanging.
go ahead, buddy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for another episode of D&D Dynamite 80s. Daryl, thank you for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it.
Great time.
Folks, grab the books. You're going to love them. The Crane and the Grandmaster. I'm
Mhm.
going to check that out. I think I want to read that one as well. So I'm going to check out a couple of the books, but check those
Absolutely.
out. Buy those. Folks, remember, as I get ready to send it over to DC, you can find us on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, on our Facebook, on the website, all D&D Dynamite 80s. Also on Canyon Star TV, D&D Dynamite 80s. You can find us there. So check us out. Give us a like, give us a share, give us a shout out. Anything bad to say, send it to DC because I'm not going to read it.
I'm the complaint
anyway.
department.
Yes, I'm not going to read it. It just goes to him. So, as I end off every week before I send it over to DC, folks, remember, it doesn't cost anything extra to be kind. So, always be kind to each other.
Amen,
DC,
brother. Amen. Let's get to the sponsors in real quick.
let's do it.
D&D Dynamite 80s would like to thank their sponsors, Hudson's Flags and More, Nesting Project of Smyrna, Tennessee, PJG Marketing, Totally Cool 80s, Charlie Bubbles Cares for Kids, Jackie's Creations on Facebook, Riley Rhodes Art Designs at RileyRhodes.art on Instagram, and the Magic Yarn Project. You can find all these great folks online. You most certainly can. Check all those fine
Yes.
folks out.
And folks, we always, when we started this thing over 5 years ago now, One of the things we want to do is find a way to kind of try to give back from the show. We've been blessed to be able to partner with two amazing organizations, the Magic Yarn Project, and what
Mhm.
these folks do, it's all volunteers across the nation. They hand knit like princes and superhero head coverings and give them for free to kids that are battling cancer. So,
Yep.
if you find it in your heart to support that organization, please do so because those head coverings make a huge difference for those families. Also, Charlie Bubbles cares for kids. Our friend the Vooch.
Actor Paul Carafotis. Yeah.
Yes, and what this organization does, if you make a donation, they provide a book to children that may not otherwise be able to have books. So,
Yeah.
as educators, we know how important literacy is. So, make sure and check those organizations out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And he's got a special project going on currently that we wanted
Yes.
to mention real quick. Yeah, he was contacted by a husband and wife that had lost their child to a heart condition at infancy and wanted him to write a book about her, a children's book. And he's done that. And Paul is looking for donations to help get that thing published. Matter of fact, I'll check in with him this later this week and see
Yes.
where he's at with that. And I know the Vooch will be able to make that happen. And yeah, if you find it, an opportunity to help out with that cause, please do that at Charlie Bubbles Cares for Kids.
Yes.
And
yes.
yeah, we need to get that thing published for sure for him. All right, next week, Adam Shapiro, Billy Nation tribute. He does a Billy Joel tribute. So we'll look forward to catching up with him and seeing all that cool stuff. So what about it, DH? Another good one in the books, brother.
Another great show in the books, brother. We keep rolling through them. Hey, it was
Absolutely.
another great show, and
once again, we appreciate Darryl
Yes.
Vidal
joining
coming
us
on
in.
and catching up with us. Great guy. So we appreciate
Yes,
that.
it just goes to show you never know which way this show's going to go when we start talking. Never know where it's going to go. So
That's the excitement of it, I think.
That's it. That's why we have fun with it.
That's exactly right. So for DH, I am DC. We'll see everybody next week. And as DC always leads us out, keep playing those 80s, my friends.
See you next
60s
week, folks.
and 70s, whatever you like. Just keep
Yes.
playing that music. We'll see you
Yes.
next week.
See you, folks.